on.
Your Bears banners dropping.
We are live. We're still alive. All three of us, Lucas Berry, Chris Krogman, and Joe Gaither, back in action after a couple of weeks off on the Believe in Monsters podcast, and we are back ready because it's Combine Week, and we are a couple of weeks away from figuring out what the hell our Chicago Bears are going to do. Some people call it the Bears Super Bowl with the NFL draft, the number one overall pick. We're going to figure out what the hell they're going to do, catch up with the guys, and figure out what in the world the latest rumors are. You can follow us at BIM_pod. You can find us on all the social media machines that believe in monsters. Chris Krogman, how are you doing? It's been a long time, sir.
Doing well. It has been a very long time. I feel like I haven't even talked to you guys since like the new year, but I know we've talked since Shane Waldron got hired. I think that was our last conversation. Or was about to be hired. Maybe it was right when he got whatever. Doing good. Doing good. It's we're getting into the thick of the off season. We got 2-ish months until the draft. We got like 2-ish weeks until free agency. It's gonna be exciting. Lucas Berry.
Sorry, I had to mute my mic there as I'm coughing up my lungs. This month has been kind of terrible. And to finish it off, I got sick. So here I am podcasting at the end of my illness. I am feeling a little bit better, but I am happy to be talking to Chris Krogman and Joe Gaither here on the Believe in Monsters podcast. Although the month was rough, we have a new Super Bowl champion crowned, the Chiefs. Congrats, Chiefs, again. And now we have it's the Bears' time to shine. The NFL Combine, the NFL Draft, free agency, and a big juicy rumor about a quarterback possibly being traded.
Well, why don't we start?
Juicy.
Why don't we start with Ryan Poles? Because Ryan Poles was in front of the media. It's NFL Combine Week. Everybody's watching the guys in the Underwear Olympics on NFL Network, seeing them run the 40, do the bench press. Caleb Williams is not throwing, but you're seeing, everybody's out there. Ryan Poles meets with the media. He spent some time. I hope you guys saw it. If you didn't, you can find it on Chicago Bears YouTube. And then he also spent some time with Pro Football Mike Florio. So you got about 20, 25 minutes worth of different content. He talked to a lot of different places, actually. What's the biggest – obviously, the biggest question is about Marcus Justin Fields. Since we've talked, Chris, oh gosh, it's all jogging my memory now. Since we've talked, Eddie Jackson and Cody Whitehair have been cut. Ryan Poles basically commented that both those guys were cut early in the process out of loyalty to those guys to give them chances to seek the most out of their free agency. And that leads us to the conversation about Justin Fields. It sounds like he says he's doing the same thing with Justin Fields. I'm communicating with their team. I want to make the move early. I want to put him in a good position to succeed, but also puts the Bears in the best place. It sounds like 99% the Bears are moving on, and Justin Fields is about to get traded. How do you feel about Ryan Poles and his approach to his players, at least transactionally, and then how it relates to Justin Fields in the next couple of days?
I mean, I think it's nice to do right by players. I think it kind of takes some of the sting off, some of the edge off, because you're getting fired, more or less. So I think that kind of helps. It also, allows people the most amount of time to get their agents working on a new landing spot. So I like it. As far as Fields goes, I think, he's more or less like admitted he's trading him. And I think that's kind of tough in that your only hope for like driving value at this point now is having multiple teams bidding on it, which there could be. But like it's almost certain that they're taking a quarterback at number one now. More than likely we know who it is, but we'll get into that, I'm sure. But yeah, that's kind of my view on it.
With that being said, on Justin Field, Lucas Berry, are you pretty much convinced that he's going to the Falcons? Do you think that Ryan Poles killed his value a little bit? I'm hearing a little bit of New York Giants at play. What will be his value? Do you even care what his value is? And how quickly do you think he's going to get moved?
Yeah, I do think I do think that I should say no. I don't think what Ryan Poles said hurt his value. I think much of the league probably knew he was going to be moved after this year, and I do care about the value. I think he's probably worth a second round pick, in my opinion. I don't think he's completely worthless as much as we bash him. You know, we do all kind of agree that if you put him in the right situation and surround him with all the right talent, you know, the stars might align at some point for him. Unfortunately, the timeline is just not lining up here with the Bears having the number 1 pick and having all this cap space, and then you know, just being able to kind of reset the quarterback clock and move forward with a pretty decent team, which not many teams can do. So, unfortunate timeline for him here, but I do think elsewhere he could succeed, and I do think, you know, what he can bring to the table alone is probably worth a second rounder. But I don't think what Ryan Poles said really hurt his value. And I really appreciate Ryan Poles' honesty in all this. And they kind of asked him about the locker room, and I don't think he really sugarcoated it. He was just like, yeah, those guys will kind of have to deal with it and we'll work through it, but he's confident in like how they'll handle it. So I think a lot of what I heard from Ryan Poles was he's pretty confident in himself, I would say. And I think he's getting better at talking to the media over the 3 years I've heard him here. I think he's been pretty smooth this week alone than from what I've seen in the past.
Chris, the big thing that he had said, one of the bigger themes of his conversation was, "Oh, I don't know what we're going to do yet. I want to have the plan in place as quickly as possible, but I don't know what we want to do yet." Now, obviously, a little bit of that is posturing to the media, but do you think he knows what he wants to do yet? You're seeing some former Bears scouts saying that now it's likely that the Bears are going to trade out of number 1 and trade Justin Fields. Like, do you think that Ryan Poles is sitting there on Thursday, February 29th, happy leap year to anybody who's celebrating a weird birthday? Do you think he's
that was supposed to be me?
Yeah. He's celebrating a weird birthday on leap year, and happy birthday to our listeners who are. Do you think he knows what he wants to do, or do you think that with the combine right here starting up in Indianapolis that he's still thinking, all right, let's figure some things out?
I feel like Caleb is going to have to, like, does Ryan Poles have daughters? Caleb does something to them.
No, Eberflus does.
Okay, if Caleb Eberflus's Matt's daughters, then that might be bad. But I think it's pretty much locked up, and I think Poles knows that too.
He even made a comment about it. Someone asked him, they were like, if you have a prospect you really like a number 1 and you get offered like this massive haul, is there a point where you would say no because you like the prospect so much? And basically it was like, yeah, I would turn down the picks for that guy if we did identify someone as that.
I did not hear that. I thought that question ended with him basically saying like it's too early. Because he said, because it was Braggs that asked him, and he said, if you found your guy, and he said, Pohl said, well, first off, it'd be our guy. So he automatically started like Heismaning the question, and like kind of shedding it off, and then kind of went through like, oh, we still have to go through the whole process, blah, 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 blah. I didn't hear him say anything about we would take the prospect. But
I'll see if I can dig it up while we keep talking here.
You do that.
Well, now you got me double thinking it, but I'm pretty positive about what I heard.
That's fine. Braggs asked some good questions. The one that was also good was the whole Mahomes comparison. And Poles was like, yeah, there's similarities, with the creativeness and I basically called Caleb and Mahomes artists versus surgeons, which is more like your Brady or Manning or Kurt Warner type, where basically sounds like the immobile dudes is what I took that as.
If you're white or if you're black.
Like literally, that's kind of how it came down to. Yeah. I was just trying to think of a black surgeon. But
Ben Carson.
not literally Joseph. I know Ben Carson's a surgeon. A brain surgeon, right?
He used to be, I think. Heart surgeon, brain surgeon, one of those two.
It's a big one. It's not like he's not a hand surgeon.
Right.
Well, we're not
Well, one thing I want to ask about one of his comments, they were asking if Ryan Poles received a lot of calls, or if the calls that he's received to this point were more or less or equal to last year. And then they also contextualized that by asking if a prospect like a Caleb Williams is hypothetically graded a lot higher than a Bryce Young, does that play into the price? I mean, is all this stuff just due diligence for the media? Are we just sitting here 7 weeks away, right? April, May, January, February, March, and April. It's 8 weeks away from the draft, and we just know we're going to take number one. So all this is just hot air. We're taking Caleb Williams number one.
I mean, here's the thing. If you think Drake May is close, and people are saying that it's like they're starting to even separate them further at this point, that Caleb is taking a large lead as to being the better prospect. If you think Drake May is in the vicinity, in the ballpark, in the whatever, and you get offered something stupid by Washington, I don't think it's not. I think it's smart to at least listen.
Now this is where I get hung up, because everyone's version of stupid is different. And I know if you go on like a trade simulator or whatever, it'll tell you if they give you next year's first round pick that they're like way overpaying. But for me, like a stupid offer from 2-1 is your next 2 first round picks. And
yes,
that's what I'm saying. So like, yeah, if that's offered, sure. But if people are saying this offer, that's whatever it was, they said 120% of value is a first next year. And
I want something. No, it's like 200% of value.
I agree with you, Chris. That's where I'm saying. But that's what I think Joe's question is, like, the value of the pick is way more valuable this year because of the prospect at 1.
For sure.
And you got a huge haul to get out to let Carolina take Bryce Young. So you're going to be looking, if Caleb Williams is what he is, or is what the scouts say he is, then you need a whole lot more. And so that makes me wonder if all this if all of this conversation is pointless. Because if the price tag is so much more, I mean, think about it. The Bears got a 1, they got DJ Moore, they ended up getting other mid-round picks. It's like they won last year's trade. I guess Bryce. I mean, you're gonna have to see if they support Bryce Young if he pans out. But like, if the price tag is that much higher, then why are we even entertaining it? With the quarterback hell that the Chicago Bears have been in. Look, Lucas has been in love with him forever. I'm not really in love with him, but I'm not really in love with any of them. I'm not in love with them. I'm just kind of in a wait and see mode. So like, take that for a grain of salt. But if the price tag is that high, why? What are we doing talking about it? What's the point?
100%. Yeah, if there's that many people, if teams are willing to give up that much for him, why are we even thinking about moving? Like, just stay. Dan, you don't have to give up all that shit. They're giving up all that stuff just to get him. You could just get him and still have 9.
Well, you still have 9, but like, and I love defense, and I love, the whole. I have been an ardent supporter of, hey, let's build the team around the quarterback, and I still think that you should do that philosophically. But if you get a quarterback that's oh my gosh, you're drafting a Patrick Mahomes type of, if you're getting a top 5 level quarterback, and that's kind of what people are kind of teasing. If you're getting a top 5 level quarterback, a creator of sorts, that changes your whole team. So why are we even talking about it, Lucas?
I mean, they got to finish doing their due diligence. They got to have the dinner with the guy. They have to meet his so-called camp. They got to do his due diligence on them and what they're about, and what they might try and pull in Chicago, whether it's blown out of proportion or what. So, I mean, I get it, and they would be bad at their jobs if they didn't do so, and they blow all this hot air out about whatever. I mean, they got to do it. They definitely do, and they got to figure out these other quarterbacks and just make sure they're making the absolute right decision. But yeah, no, and I mean the first step is get rid of Justin Fields, and then once they do that, maybe I don't know. Ryan Poles doesn't strike me as the type of dude that would come out and say who he's going to take a few weeks early, but I don't know. Maybe he will if they get rid of Fields and they'll just be like, "Hey, we're going to take Caleb Williams like in a few weeks." I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, Lucas. With the combine going on in Indianapolis, you've got a widespread debate about its value. You have kind of the ancillary conversation on how moral it is putting these players through all the poking and prodding with the medicals and the interview process and then the underwear Olympics. What do you think the value is when you can see what a guy is on tape over the course of his collegiate career, whether it be 1 year or 3 years at whatever school, Division I or Division 3? You got tape, and a lot of the times with the tape, you can have analytical next gen, NFL next gen, or catapult data to figure out how fast guys are. What's the value of the NFL Combine this week, Lucas?
I mean, the older I get and the more that social media has evolved kind of how we look at football, I've realized that the combine is just as much a marketing event as it is a participation for college players to show their 40 times. Like I saw Brett Coleman tweet something. He was like, the NFL combine is nothing like I expected. Like those guys just go out, they hang out at bars, they get drunk, they shoot the shit. But that's where you stir up business. And that's where the NFL season really gets kicked off with deals getting done. Last year, that's where we saw the first pick traded. And then I do think the combine has its importance in measurables. I mean, we see obviously Caleb Williams. I don't even know if he's being measured or not, but there's a big debate about how tall is he? You get these kind of answers on these guys to get final clarification. We know how big like these relative athletic scores are to Ryan Poles, but like also measurables. Like there were certain guys today at the combine where I was like, literally right off the bat, like Latu, I was like, sub 33-inch arms. He's probably not going to be on the Bears board immediately. Like he had a great combine, but I don't think he fits what they're looking for. And I do think measurables are a big thing. And then there's very specific drills for specific positions that mean a lot. It's not really the common ones, but I think like a lot of the agility drills for some of the wide receivers and DNs are pretty big in kind of figuring out their profile.
Well, Chris, are you excited about seeing anyone at the combine, or do you think that the Bears are looking for anyone at the combine? Like, what's going on from Ryan Poles' perspective outside of, hey, I want to get to know these prospects face to face and start meeting them, outside of outside of just the film room?
Outside the film room, man, so like they're bringing back the darts and putting or whatever to kind of loosen the guys up, break down their character, get them to tell their deepest, darkest secrets and what what they did in 8th grade that they would be ashamed of today. So I think that's what that's the biggest benefit right now outside of what Lucas mentioned on the field with measurables, things like that. I don't think any of the actual I don't think throwing matters.
No.
Wide receiver drills, if you booger it up, dude, that's bad, obviously. But I think confirmation of what you saw on tape is really what this comes down to. So but the thing about it is like even like the 40 time, which used to be a big deal, like now all that stuff is tracked by next gen, so you can get people's mile per hour in game now. So you don't even need a 40 time necessarily. But I still think like there are specific measurables that do matter. Like Lucas mentioned with your arm length and honestly hand size. But what if Caleb comes out and has like 6.5-inch hands? That's gonna be kind of like whoa. I don't think that'll happen, but that's not good. Baby hands are bad.
My worst fear is the Bears trading out of the number 1 pick and taking Jaden Daniels.
Ooh, why is that?
Dude, Dan Orlovsky's he just likes to stir up shit.
Well,
He was the biggest Fields hater on the planet. And then last year he was like, blah, 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 Justin Fields.
What's your big knock on Jaden Daniels, Luke?
He doesn't throw over the middle of the field.
It just feels too similar. It feels way too similar. I mean, I know he's not Justin Fields. He probably has better pocket presence. His advanced metrics are scary to look at when you see how often he runs from clean pockets, doesn't throw to the middle of the field. He doesn't really have a very strong arm. He's skinny. He's like 205 pounds. To be honest with you, I'm over the. I know every quarterback is mobile, but I'm over the dual threat type quarterback for a little bit. Just give me a guy who can sit back there and throw.
He's only got one season of good tape. He's got, two seasons of bad tape.
And the 1 year he had of good tape, he had a freaking all-pro team around him. He's going to have 3 guys drafted in the top 25 probably.
Joe, you're Mr. SEC.
I do agree. I think more than 1 year of good tape. It took him about 4 or 5 games to really get going 2 years ago. So about a year and a half. We'll concede a year and a half of good tape. But Lucas, I haven't looked at those next gen numbers throwing over the middle. But as far as his height, weight, that sort of thing, yeah, you're right. He is frail. I guess I can see a little bit of the. I mean, he's an athletic freak as far as he's elusive. He's got a lot of.
He's also fearless, and that's kind of dangerous.
He's got a lot of just kind of moxie about him.
I think his build is more like Lamar than Fields, but Lamar always had a huge arm, but he has the Fields aspect of not throwing to the middle of the field. He's a pretty good anticipatory thrower, though. I will give him that, but I can't do it again. It's too similar.
The funniest thing to me about Lamar is just like his unathletic going down to the ground. Like, he can't slide for shit. He just kind of falls forward.
I've noticed a lot of mobile quarterbacks have trouble sliding, and I don't know why.
It's unreal.
Do we have a Caucasian statue in this draft? Drake May? Drake May. There you go. There's your opposite.
He's not a statue, though. No, that dude can cook.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone is kind of a mobile quarterback now. That's why I said true dual threat. I would say Jaden Daniels is a true. I mean, so is Caleb, but Caleb will try and throw first. But Drake May's the same. He's athletic enough to escape the pocket when he has to.
Caleb is constantly treading backwards, looking for the throw.
To a fault, dude.
The pocket. Yeah, probably to a fault. He probably could take off a little bit more.
That's why his time to throw was so insane, was because he literally would just sit back there looking for somewhere to throw instead of running or whatever.
But he will run. I mean, you look at that signature game. He had like a huge 85-yard run against Texas.
Ugh. To be honest with you, I think the Drake May is probably the best fit for Shane Waldron, though. Or I think
so that's fine. That's
really
fine.
Good fit. I think Caleb would be a good fit in that too. I'm just thinking like kind of the offense that Gino ran with a lot of play action. I think Drake may be really good in that type of offense.
I just think you cannot draft a quarterback based on a coach.
No. I'm just like speaking out loud here. But then the more I thought about it, I was like Jaden Daniels wouldn't fit at all into what they want to do.
Yeah. So Lucas, I think Joe said this and we touched on it a little bit. What's the value for Fields? And who else is involved other than, I think we know Atlanta's involved. I've heard Pittsburgh at times. Joe dropped a Giants.
Giants. Yeah. I don't know.
I even heard a Raiders out there, which I thought was interesting considering the Getsy connection. And
DBB Bears blog dropped the Vikings too tonight. There's chatter about it, but the Bears probably wouldn't trade. Can you imagine if we traded him to the Vikings?
Please do it.
that'd be awesome for their first. That'd be awesome. They have to have like
Yeah.
a mid-round first, dude. That'd be freaking sick, dude. You give up a mid-round first for a guy that the Bears know very well. Like, and
So
the Packers, like, they would never do. Like, that would be I don't know, man. But Fields has cooked them. He has annihilated the Vikings.
Yeah. This is interesting, though, because I know the DraftKings odds obviously have the Falcons as the heavy favorite, but I have seen a few water dumping reports on that. Bill Zimmerman, who's pretty knowledgeable about stuff that goes on with the Bears, said he heard the Falcons were not as involved as people think. And then I saw other few people on NFL Network saying Atlanta really wants to take a quarterback. And I think someone like J.J. McCarthy would probably be a really good fit in that style of offense they want to run. So interesting. I don't know if Atlanta would be the landing spot we think it is for him.
I think the whole sportsbook odds are so influenced by the things that happen in the media, like
especially for like this kind of stuff. I don't
right. Like Mike Tomlin said he loves Justin Fields, and the Steelers spiked to the favorite. And then Justin goes on the St. Brown Brothers the St. Brown Brothers podcast and says, like, oh yeah, that Atlanta has a lot of good talent over there with Drake London and my guy Kyle Pitts and Bijan, and they probably need one more receiver, and so and then Atlanta goes out of control, So I don't know. We'll see. Now it's being reported that the deal is already done, and it's a first round swap plus 42 or 43 or whatever, which I could not see that happening. I think that'd be too rich for Atlanta.
If it's worth anything, Courtney Cronin did say she thinks Fields will be moved fairly soon. So it's an interesting nugget. She normally doesn't just say stuff like that.
Courtney, since you're watching the show, I love you very much. Good report.
Kay Adams, if you're watching this show, I love you. I mean, what are we just throwing out random female?
Yeah, you're wooing the
reporters?
one viewer and hoping it's them.
Yeah, Courtney Cronin.
Well, like Kay Adams is on like FanDuel Network now or some shit. Like that is the most random job.
Courtney's watching our show, guys. What are you talking about? She's taking time out of her Thursday night for extra Bears content.
No, it's Ryan Poles at St. Elmo's right now.
Ryan, all right, look,
dude.
Ryan. If the only way you're trading out of this number one pick is if they're giving you stupid, and I'm talking like if somebody gives you an offer, you say more and hang up. And then they call back and they offer you more. You just say more and hang up. You just keep doing it over and over and over until they either run off or the offer is so high that you have to take it. Or that's the only way you play this game, Ryan Poles. When you're up at St. Elmo, they send you shrimp cocktail. He says, send me another. And just keep eating it. Just keep eating it the whole time. You're an offensive lineman, former offensive lineman. Just keep sitting there. More. You got to bring me more.
Don't eat too much of that cocktail. That stuff will burn your mouth sooner or later. The stuff got some heat
spicy.
To it. It's like really horseradishy. Yeah, it's like
good though.
It's all good. Oh my god,
you both had it.
Yeah. I had it at the 2001 National Championship game where Alabama lost.
So they give you the shrimp in a dish, and then they put the cocktail sauce like right on top of it, right?
No, it's like in the middle.
Yeah.
When I first saw a picture of it online, though, I was like, "Is that a giant meatball?" It looked like just a huge meatball in a cup.
Maybe somebody did it wrong.
Yeah, it looked real messy.
It's like normal shrimp cocktail. Like it's the shrimp are lined around the cup like they always are, and you dip it in there, and then you clear your nostrils instantly.
Oh, you dip the shrimp in there, so the stuff's not on the shrimp already.
No. Like it's like like a cup, and the cocktail sauce is in the cup. And the shrimp's like hanging off the edge of the cup.
Okay, yeah, that's not what I saw. Whatever I saw looked like a freaking meatball. I think they just put the shrimp in the cup and then put the stuff on top. like a
They probably
psychopath.
just like
Why would
It
you
looked
do
real
that?
weird. I don't know, man. It looked weird. When I saw that, I was like, what the hell am I looking at?
I
Like,
mean,
it
the
looked like-
tail is like the perfect thing to hold on to while you dip it. Why would you get that all messy? That's just stupid.
I don't know what I saw, man. It didn't look good.
I had it a while ago, twice in one trip. We went to they have a satellite restaurant that we just ate at the bar and just hung out and ate shrimp cocktail like literally for lunch, and then we went again to the actual St. Elmo's downtown and had steak and shrimp cocktail, and it was phenomenal.
they brought the shrimp cocktail to the press box of the 01 national championship game. So I didn't go to the restaurant. I didn't go to either restaurant, but that was the halftime kind of snack for the media. It was great.
I would like to get us up to the combine at one point. One of us, some of us, but all of us. Let's just all go. It's supposed to be fun. I mean, like we kind of talked about at the beginning of the show, it's just a who's who and a hobnobbing and, kind of drinking beers with all of the reporters that we, follow on Twitter, and all of the coaching staffs and GMs and everything are all hanging out around town. So that's pretty cool.
How many random people do you think just show up just to shoot the shit with those guys? Do you think it's insane, or do you think it's not as crazy as you think?
It's probably not as crazy as you think. I mean, we talk about it, but dude, I'm 44 years old, man. I've been following this thing for forever, and I've never sniffed Indy.
Yeah, I know, but if you were in the area, a few hour drive, I don't know. I think that'd be sweet to just take the week off and I don't know, peruse the town, talk to these dudes.
Totally. Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Not even a week, a few days. Thursday, Friday.
I might want to hit
That's
Tuesday, Wednesday. Let the guys.
Is that when they show up?
Get there.
They show up Tuesday, right?
No, I think they show. I mean, I think everybody starts getting there
Monday.
Sunday, Monday. They start getting there. But I would like to get a little bit of the early stuff worked out, and then because if you show up too early, then nobody's had their media sessions. Ryan Poles hasn't told you essentially that he's trading Justin Fields, and you can't even ask. I mean, you could ask him about it, but there's not enough meat on the bone. That's why we pushed this podcast back from Tuesday to now, hoping that we'd get a little bit more news out of.
Man, I thought Justin would have been traded by now.
I never thought I'd hear that come out of your mouth.
It's because you say Kashul is not accurate with his scoops.
What? He's the most accurate reporter on the Twitter sphere.
Yeah, he's right after everyone. I can confirm.
What y'all gonna be doing? What y'all gonna be thinking about a? Shoot, are there numbers restrictions still in the NFL? They got rid of all the numbers restrictions for jerseys, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't Dallas 10? Dallas was 10.
I thought Dallas was 9.
No, he was 10, right? It's 15. He was 15. He was 15. What do you think? Dallas Turner pulls a. Here we go. Here's you some numbers to salivate over. 4.47. His vertical jump is
and
40.
Did you even see his 40-yard dash?
Yeah,
that man was drunk. He wasn't even running in a straight line.
Swerve.
Dude, seriously, if you watch the front
it.
video, he's outside of the lines. I'm like, dude, if you ran straight, you would have ran a 4.44.
Yeah. 83-inch wingspan.
Oof.
At 6'2".
Yep. The surprise, the Alabama Crimson Tide severely overestimated his height. I think they had
he was 6'2" and 5'8", so he's basically 6'3".
So Dallas Turner at 9. I've been seeing a lot of Malik Neighbors at 9 as well, wide receiver out of LSU.
I mean,
yeah, if Neighbors is there, you got to take him.
Honestly, I think he trades back. The more I think about it, the more I think he's going to want to keep stacking picks, especially if this QB market heats up and it's not fully cooked by number 9. Like if, I don't know, McCarthy's getting top 10 push, or Penix somehow, or Bo Nix for some stupid reason, if they all start to climb and we get 5-6 quarterbacks in the top 10, and Fields and Poles can trade back, I think he totally will to like 15 to 18. Because I think you could still get like Brian Thomas there.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm curious to see what his grade or feelings are about Rome Odunze in that spot. I know the league is very high on him. I go through flashes of what I like and don't like about him, but
who in the league have you talked to that's high on him?
I've just seen people, like, if you go on NFL.com, like, they talk about how this guy's wide receiver 1 material year 1.
Yeah,
like,
he
you read
looks
shit like
good.
that.
I mean, dude, when Penix throws to him, he had like the best passer rating in NCAA football, dude.
The thing that scares me is like and if Caleb is this guy, it's totally fine. But like, you literally just have to throw it up to him with a guy on his back and be confident that'll catch it. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of how Mike Evans is too, but you literally just need to throw him the ball even when he's covered and just pray he catches it, which he does most of the time. He's a freaking beast. But like, if we drafted him for Fields, do you think Fields would ever throw that guy? No fucking way. You see what I mean, though? Like, I'm not joking. Like, he literally would not throw that guy a jump ball.
He'd throw at him. It'd be like even over that guy's head.
Who was the wide receiver that came from Carolina? Was it Musa Muhammad, right?
Yeah, Musa Muhammad, yeah.
Wasn't that how he played in Chicago a bit? Not very fast, but big old dude.
Yeah, but he was more like a slant, big body, like box you out type. Marcus Robinson was an old school freaking jump ball.
But
guy.
The comp for Odunze on NFL.com is Larry Fitzgerald, which is interesting.
No, okay.
I think we'd all like some Larry. Lunchtime with Larry. I am also growing more and more fond of the Fashanu or Joe Alt possibility at number 9.
You give
I
me
wouldn't mind it, but
offensive lineman, and I will be creaming my pants.
I mean,
I'd rather take the edge rusher of the O lineman.
I think you can. I mean, obviously, we need to go through free agency first, but do you think, like, I guess it depends on how you view Joe Alt and Fashanu versus, like, say if it's Dallas Turner, that's fine. Like, Dallas Turner is not viewed as, like, what's your boy's name? Will?
He's not as good as Will Anderson. He's not
Will Anderson, right? Okay,
he's
but
not
like,
but
if you think Fashanu and Alt are, you know, in any other draft, top 5 picks, you know, and you're not top loading this draft with quarterbacks and wide receivers that seem to be elite, then those two are probably top 7 picks most likely. So to me, it's, if you value the positions fairly equally, I think you take the top talent, unless Turner is just head and shoulders above those two in terms of like talent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the thing about Turner, though, I feel like is the argument's always going to be what he can become. So, yeah, I mean, the same situation, but in your case, you could compare what you think their future is.
Sure. No, and like that kind of goes into my.
But I do think you would be in that conversation if you're thinking long term. Like, I could totally see them being like, "This guy's a fucking all pro in a few years. He just needs some coaching and a little bit of time."
Yeah. I think 9 is going to be interesting. It's so freaking wild that they have 2 top 10 picks, man.
And we're not number 9
lifetime.
is like. Number 9 is like we barely care about it, and that's like last year.
No, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. That's the funny thing is like we all think it's a done deal. So why are we not talking about 9 more?
Because it's harder to predict. The board's going to be. I think it's going to be a crazy draft.
I think this is going to be the wildest board in some time.
We're going to be live for it, right?
I'm game too.
Joe's going to be streaming it from his TV again.
I'm game too. I shouldn't have anything come up. We'll see, but we
got shut down for that last year, so let's not do that.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
We got shut down for something.
Joe did it to us.
We
Joe-
got shut
it was
down
Joe-
because we got shut down because I shared. This was like week 1 or week 2. I like reshared the game one week when Luke wasn't here, and we watched it on NFL replay.
We did something wrong. We
Yeah.
got YouTube definitely cut us off for a little
Well-
while. We'll let us post that, but no worries.
Don't you I mean, when you guys look at the draft though, or the top end, don't you think there's so many really, like maybe not superstar level players, but a lot of all pro type players, a lot of like really blue chip type players. Maybe not somebody who's going to take over the league, but a lot of guys who can like plug in and be a 8 to 10 year starter for a team.
Yeah,
Definitely, man.
I'd say it makes me. I like if we can get a second rounder for Justin, especially in that 42, maybe even 54 from Steelers or whatever it is. I'd feel a lot better at just pulling the trigger at 9 rather than trading back. But I still think there's going to be positional importance to certain teams that pushes good talent down the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, dude, like Dallas Turner could end up being 12 to 15 just because people are doing all kinds of wild other shit, you know? So it'll be really fun to see what happens. Unless we don't take Caleb Williams at number 1, and then I might legit not be a football fan anymore.
Would you be devastated if we did not take him at 1? Or
Fuck
if we
yes.
What if we traded back and took May?
What do we get for it?
You get the NFL Network Hall.
Which I don't even know what that is.
Next year's first and this year's second.
I want both seconds and next year's first, and then I wouldn't be that pissed off. Because we have our own second that we gave him. I'd be fucking mad. Because then if you're wrong, well, here's the thing. If you're right, then it doesn't matter. But if you're wrong, oh my God. Then it's
you're going to be
Bears.
playing this game again. You think about the Mitch Trubisky, Patrick Mahomes game, though, that we played for however many years, and you can still play it. It's going to be the same thing. If Caleb Williams turns out to be something special and the Bears pass on him and go for somebody else, I mean, it's one thing if the Bears take Williams and May
McCarthy or somebody goes off.
McCarthy goes crazy. Yeah, whatever. You took the obvious prospect, right? You took the number 1 guy. Maybe Trubisky was – I mean, he was in the class for sure, but it wasn't a one guy's ahead of the class in that 17 class. You had Watson some days, you had Trubisky some days, and you had the random guy sometimes saying Mahomes, but not often. You got pretty much everybody saying Williams. So if you take Williams here and he flops, it's not as bad as if you pass on him. He does great.
The funny thing is that the Fields fans are still thinking it's between Justin and Caleb, and it's not. It's between Caleb and May, if anything, at all.
I can't be on Twitter really digging into Bears Twitter. I just cannot do
it. Strictly from a financial aspect, because there's nowhere to go with Justin, especially with a third-year coach and GM. You are more or less in your win now window, or you're going to be out of a job. That does not bode well for a quarterback that is on the hot seat, more or less, or what do they call it? A lame duck quarterback. Yeah.
What does a lame duck even mean?
A lame duck is someone who's entering his last year.
Well, I know what it is, but like, what does it literally mean? Like, what is the actual definition, not the football terminology?
It's a duck with a wing that is no longer very good.
Cannot fly.
It's lame. It's like this.
The origins of the term, the phrase lame duck, was coined in the 18th century at the London Stock Exchange to refer to a stockbroker who defaulted on his debts. The first known mention of the term was written by Horace Walpole from a letter in 1761 to Sir Horace Mann. Do you know what a bull and a bear and a lame duck are? In 1791, Mary Berry wrote of the Duchess of Devonshire's loss of 50,000 euros in stock or pounds, maybe. I don't know if that's the right sound. The conversation of the town that her name was to be posted up as a lame duck. In a literal sense, the term refers to a duck which is unable to keep up with its flock, making it a target for its predators.
Mary Berry. That could be a relative of mine.
It probably is. Your great grandmother wrote in 1791.
My great grandmother Mary Berry.
She's a pioneer. She's a pioneer of the term. Lucas, what else is on your mind, Chicago Bears related, as we got about 6-8 weeks till the draft?
Justin Fields, you got to get rid of him soon. Free agency starts in like 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to dive into that next week with the Bears cap situation. The NFL revealed the new cap. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Ryan Poles says thumbs up.
$30 million added to it.
Actually, I want to talk about that real quick because when Ryan Poles was on with Mike Florio and Chris Sims, they asked about that email and he opened it and like it sounded like he was playing a little bit both sides. Like partly it was good news because the number was so high, but partly it wasn't good news because it's going to allow other teams to be more flexible than the Bears had kind of previously planned on. And the Bears, with our flexibility, might have been in a better position to take advantage if the number was lower. So how do you like? It was an interesting dynamic of one. Yeah, it's great to have the cap be higher. You have more room to spend. But two, since the Bears had more cap to begin with, maybe it hurts them a little bit because somebody else keeps like you keep like a $10 million receiver that you didn't have that you weren't going to keep before.
The Chiefs are going to probably keep Chris Jones because of it, so I get it. But also at the same time, there's no way he's been surprised by that. Like they probably knew that was coming for a while. That doesn't make it better or worse, though.
Boo this man.
Me?
No. The NFL cap creators to allow them to keep Chris Jones.
Oh.
Well, it's an interesting dynamic that the Bears had a lot of cap. The Bears, Ryan Poles has been playing a bit of a smarter. I mean, he came in and basically dumped as many contracts as he could to set himself up for positions like this, and to have it not work out. I mean, it's not working out, but it's not like flawless execution through no fault of his own.
Yeah, for sure. That's a letdown. It's all right. It'd be okay. There'll still be plenty of guys. We can just give more money to Jalen Johnson now. Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, the conversation has been that Poles messed up, and that's fine. I mean, you can have that side of the argument. I get it. But he has plenty of leverage with the franchise tag. And he also has, I mean, JJ was not considered a top corner when that deal was initially offered. And then he went fucking bananas this year. I mean, he had a good year. He finally learned how to catch the ball. And he had a much better season than he normally does. And he still ended up missing a couple games, if I'm not mistaken. So that's always been the concern with JJ. So I get people are upset that we didn't re-sign him when we could have for 18 or whatever it probably was. But now you know that he's capable of it. But at the same time, there still has to be some level of caution with him going into it.
Caution because of health or caution because of a 1 year where the
both of them. I mean, shoulder's always going to be an issue, and you don't know. I mean, the production thing's great, but why did it take till year 4 to get the turnovers and things? That's my slight concern with it. But I have been a massive JJ supporter and would love to see him get re-signed. So I will have no problem paying him top dollar.
Holla, top dollar. Lucas Berry, you happy that Jalen Johnson is trending to be a Bear for the next 3 to 4 years? He did say that the deal seems like it's going to be short enough to allow Jalen Johnson to get the market one more time. But what do you think about these latest developments?
Well, anytime I think it's getting close, I always see another snag. And our friend PFF Brad tweeted yesterday that the Bears were likely to use the franchise tag on him. So I don't know.
Is that dude connected or like where's that come from? Like, does he just?
I don't know.
He
always
like contract things or what?
No, I think he's definitely connected with agents or something, because anytime free agency rolls around, he's always on the ball. And I mean, he's pretty freaking accurate for everything I've seen when he projects this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think he's fairly well connected. I don't think he would just say that.
I think that's what he wants. I think that's what he wants to do, because I want to feel like he was in law school.
So yeah, he was.
He could become an agent.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I know that's like a whole process, but yeah, so that's what he said. But he did say they would tag him with the intention of trying to sign him to a deal. I hope they just sign him to a deal. I mean, this has been going back and forth for over a year now, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like
in my opinion, Poles lost the battle. You know, he bet on Jalen Johnson potentially not playing as well as he did, and Johnson balled out and he earned his money. So now he's got to pay him.
I mean, I don't know if he bet either way or just waited to see what would happen. You know what I mean? It's not like
I don't think it's a win or loss deal.
Yeah, I think it's just, hey, let's see what happens. And
well, I mean, I get that, but I feel like
I guess it didn't fiscally work out for him, but at the same time, he could still walk away, and it could still work out fine. You know,
right? I guess I'm saying that you did it the first time. You can't do it again. You kind of just have to pony up the money if you want to keep the guy.
Right.
Yes.
Like there shouldn't be this bickering back and forth again. Like you did it the first time. You said, let's wait and see. You saw now you got to pay him. I guess that's what kind of my point. Or you let him hit free agency. You don't keep going back and forth.
Hell no. You tag that shit. Make him do it again. I mean, there's nobody else they need to use the tag on, right?
Definitely not.
Well, then you tag that dude and make him play again. And then if you can get a long-term deal done, great. Because like I said, like I've said a couple of times, any deal done now is gonna be a bargain down the road.
Yep. Did you guys know the Colts haven't used a franchise tag since 2014?
It's probably on like Adam Vinatieri too.
No, it was on Pat McAfee.
I wasn't far off.
You were not far off.
That's great.
I thought that was crazy when I saw that.
Yeah, that's great trivia. Well, fellas, this time next week, Justin Fields will be moved. We'll be able to talk about that trade compensation. The NFL. I'm speaking it into existence. Come on, listeners and viewers to the Believe Monsters podcast. You all are going to be happy. Even you, Justin Fields lover, 365-8101 on the Twitter machine. You will be happy at the end of the day. Shut up and like it. Or go cheer for the Falcons. Those are your choices. But this time next week, we'll talk about the movement of Justin Fields, the NFL Combine, and more rumors if the Bears have traded the number 1 overall pick and we're losing our minds, or if we're all falling in love with Caleb Williams. Chris Krogman, anything else you got on your mind tonight?
No.
Lucas Berry, anything else you got on your brain tonight? We want to thank you for fighting through some illness this evening to join us.
Go Bears.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Make every play, clear the way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with the might so fearlessly. We'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears, and let them know why you're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois, Chicago Bears.